Well, it feels oh so good to be back in this O-Face cave. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It's a lovely Tuesday morning over here after a very long and girthy night's sleep. It felt oh so fucking good. Don't think I've slept 10 hours in my life before, but that was a really good one last night. Anyways, plenty to talk about and more with Bitcoin at all, as Bitcoin does head up to our more medium-term targets to the upside, exceeding the $45,000 target in the short term, and even almost gunning for $50,000 target, of which that's going to be the Z's Muzz dance target, we'll call it for now. Anyways, I'm fucking Z's, bro. Anyway, stupid. Anyways, with that in mind, let's put the focus over here on the Krown Chain application, which can be found at app.krownchain.net. And actually, before I get into that, I should say that, yes, we are indeed back home at our main battle stations now. So we are working through all of the emails that we've got over the past few days, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. So within this next 24-hour cycle here, you should be taken care of if you had any sort of an email waiting in our list. And if not, then definitely send us another email. But within this next 24-hour session, I think that we can take care of everything. And again, major apologies for the delay there. Anyways, with that in mind, let's put the focus over here on the Krown Chain application, which we found at app.krownchain.net. By the way, it is also 100% free, so take advantage of it. Go take your free account. It's right there in the description below if you want, or don't. It's all good either which way. No pressure, of course, but looking at the Bitcoin dominance, what do we see? We do see that it did head up quite a significant amount as we do play into the rotational narrative of this market, as Bitcoin does break out of the consolidation range above that $41,000 pivot, or $40,000, or if you were just kind of aggressive like we were talking about over the last few days, above $39,000. Well, there you fucking go, baby. There you fucking go. Anyways, more importantly with that does still suggest that we are seeing, as Bitcoin completes its consolidations, altcoins not going to be doing all that well versus their Bitcoin Satoshi parents. So as long as that condition is met, or as long as we see that sort of relationship, we can see that this market can be propped up for quite some time, and that is what we want to see in a healthy market. Obviously, while Bitcoin does consolidate, we want altcoins kind of play a little bit of catch up, maybe even be led by one of the more strong ones like Ethereum, which had its big event yesterday. And then when Bitcoin's ready to roll once again, take the reins and everyone else can kind of fall back in line. With that in mind, we see that open interest has absolutely shot up to the fucking heavens right here to 7.5 billion. Now, we really need to go into the actual market data tab over here to really put the focus on why this is so fucking impressive and important, as Bitcoin does break above the top side of the range, which, by the way, open interest was making new all-time highs before price action was. That was actually on the 6th of February right here, as you can see, and that also did play into the bias that we were having, saying, hey, yes, technically speaking, this is not actually broken the price levels, but it's looking pretty fucking likely. So there you go. And in this case, this is why I really wanted this data on a chart like this, so you can measure it up with price action and see exactly where those pivots are. So we've steadily seen open interest rise alongside price action. This rally looks, well, not just real, it looks like it has even more legs. And I'd be looking for these to kind of provide baselines for these cycles to come. Anyways, moving on, do we see anything with the fear and greed index? Well, of course, we are extremely motherfucking greedy right now. It's at a 95 region, all the way up from about an 83 yesterday. And of course, that's what you would expect when Bitcoin does rally more or less almost $10,000 in one goddamn day. One fucking 24-hour period. Holy shit, man. Holy shit. You gotta love it. Now, here's the thing. This rally, once again, kind of being spurned upon by some Elon Musk news, if you will. But the difference between this one and obviously the prior one is that this one actually has a tangible result. Obviously, the prior one, Elon just changes his Twitter bio. Does that really account for any sort of foundational change in the in this asset? No, it's just a Twitter bio. It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. But when someone like Tesla, or a company like Tesla, puts in $1.5 billion worth of their funds into Bitcoin, that's actually quite real. and that, as you can see, producing some very interesting price action right here. Now, obviously, they didn't just go in and market buy this. I always get this question like, Elon must have market bought this, right, on BitMEX, just like me. No. When you're dealing with big money like that, you do it in dark pools, you do it OTC, you don't do it on fucking exchanges. You're just going to absolutely destroy the markets even more than they got yesterday. And but of course, it all kind of feeds back anyways, because we do have arbitrage opportunities, and someone has to fucking buy that in order to sell it to them somewhere. So of course, these deals are done off exchanges in order to avoid those issues. What else do we want to talk about? And then of course, also saying that he might even accept Bitcoin for payments for Tesla. That's rather interesting. Although that's a little bit less tangible, seeing as it actually hasn't really happened, and those sorts of things, those sorts of rumors, they come and go. But buying 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, that is legitimate. That is actually quite the big deal. Looking at the global funding rate over here, what do we see? We do see that we have, holy fucking guacamole, Bybit at 0.375%. This is actually one of the highest that I've ever seen in my life. I do recall in 2017, I did see BitMEX above, I believe it was 0.33%, actually right at the end of its 2017 rally. And we do see that several exchanges are, way the fuck out there on Mars too. We see FTX at 0.24%. We see Binance at 0.185%. We see BitMEX at 0.146%. I mean, pretty much everyone's above the threshold today, except for OKX and Huobi and Femex, actually, funnily enough, and Deribit right under it. But close enough anyway. So what I want to see this now, while this is a bit concerning right now, I wouldn't say that this is fully concerning in and of itself. What we need to see is this perpetuated for another, full on at least 24 hours, but preferably 48 hours to 72 hours is where I'm looking for to really denote like a major pivot on the market. Now, do I expect this to kind of provide a little bit of short-term downside exposures? Probably yes, which we'll look at in the short-term time frame soon enough. But is it, is it going to be speaking towards the long-term macro? Not until I see this like really perpetuated for, 2 to 3 days consistently. Right now, we're just seeing a spike, albeit a fucking phenomenally massive spike, maybe even one of the biggest that I've ever seen since watching Bitcoin for the last like 4 or 5 years. And this is well, we'll just keep an eye on that. Let's go into the fucking price action. How about that? All right, so starting off over here. First and foremost, as always, Bitcoin on the daily, closing above the topside Toronto band. We did say that that would be one of the major conditions leading up for further continuation. Obviously, that was met on continuation, no shit. But of course, that also was a bit more of a formality as what we were speaking about yesterday, because the big one, at least for myself, was one, taking out the Elon Musk pump high. I did say that it was, one of those times where you probably could have been aggressive, and I would have been aggressive myself in this case, although I was long from lower. And in this case right here, well, there you fucking go. And then if you're a little bit less aggressive, this pivot right here at about 39,200 would have been the next one. That was obviously taken out yesterday. And then if you're ultra conservative, then about 40,700 right here would have been that next pivot. But in this case, obviously the market very, 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 very aggressive. And so that's why I did feel like this was one of those situations where, yes, if I'm just speaking personally here, I do think that it's appropriate to be aggressive. And that actually is what did happen. Look, exactly as perderped. We fucking perderped it. That's right, baby. You owe us your perderptions now. Sign up your perderptions right here. Just like... No, there's no such thing as fucking I predicted it exactly. You can't have that in the game of statistics, really. I mean, it's all about risk and reward. It's all about give and go. It's all about the statistical narrative that kind of come up with these setups, rather than like saying this is going to happen no matter what, for sure, 100% done deal. No, that can't be done. So I just, in a more serious tone right there, I do want to be a little bit drawn back to earth instead of having a bit of fun here for the newer people, because that is, well, if you're new to this channel, that is, well, one of the major truths that I operate by, and that trading in general operates by, at least in my experience, for very successful traders. Anyways, moving on to DMI ADX. Obviously, this signal getting further liftoff. I think that's rather obvious here. But again, I want to follow up for the people who have been looking at this for the past week or so, because you did see it, kind of take its time in this region right here when Bitcoin was hanging below the $38,000 mark. And of course, with these sort of daily signatures, they operate on a daily schedule. So it's not going to happen in like the same fucking 5-minute dildo, but over time, yes. Of course, the MACD daily was really powerful as well. This is why the 34,500 pivot was so big. Also synonymous with the 20-something moving average right here as well. So you see MACD crossing the upside, getting a bullish signal on this, while it actually is breaking structure as well, really confirming this as reaccumulation. So that's also, again, calling back to the people who have been here for a while now. This is why I've been saying these things for a long time, saying that this is very obviously reaccumulation, given multiple things. And that being one of them. So with all of this in mind, I just want to show the people who actually happen to give a fuck that, when you see something like this, it can take a little bit of time to actually come about. Anyways, as far as MACD goes, we will continue to rise above about 40,000 bucks, and we ain't crossing the downside anytime soon, by the way. Well, of course, you're not really looking for cross the downside. You'd be looking for the histogram to stop rising. So for now, it'll continue rising as long as Bitcoin's above $40,000, and we can look at $40,000 now as a bit of a pivot on the market. Would be my main thing right there. Weekly, obviously, is going to be trending above the topside trolling band. We did say that just based off of last week's closure, probably looking for new all-time highs. Same thing with Ethereum. Surprise, surprise! There you fucking go, right? And by the way, with this last move, the DMI ADX on the weekly here is getting a fresh signal. We do get the ADX starting to strengthen once again. DMI Plus is, of course, dominant and has a positive slope right there. So all of that looking good. MACD obviously not changing. I'm curious if the 2-day or was it the 3-day that closed? No, the 2-day is closing tonight. So the 2-day will have a chance to close above the topside Toronto band. That'd be about 43,350, which, to kind of put it in line with the daily, I would be looking for these areas to be retested anywhere between the top side of the 2-day and the daily. The daily is 44,650. The 2-day is 43,400 about. So anywhere between that level, I would be looking for Bitcoin to play out a retracement towards probably around today's daily closure and then get picked up from there once again. I would be looking for a bounce, so to speak, is what I'm saying. Now, keep in mind, the daily MACD looking very fucking good here as it trends above the topside. I mean, this is just fucking picture perfect, by the way. Just get rid of the numbers because they're only going to, these numbers on the left-hand side, I should say, they're only going to make you exuberant and irrational. But if you just look at structure and whatnot, then that can kind of keep help you, and or at least myself, curtailed. And you see, oh, okay, yeah, this looks good, probably more upside. And then you go and realize over here, okay, so we're actually going to go to $50,000. That's cool. DMI Plus, same sort of signature here as well. Very, very good. So I guess it was a 3-day that closed last night. And yes, indeed, it did close last night. So what do we see? We do see that it did close above the topside Toronto band once again, alongside a bullish MACD cross. So momentum shifting to the upside as trending and also volatility-based indicators start to initiate more upside as well. Expansion in that direction, obviously going to imply new all-time highs on top of that, which technically speaking, we already have. But I'd say based off the DMI ADX signal, that's probably not going to stop right here. Very unlikely to stop right here. So with that in mind, we're going to go down to the lower term timeframes over here and see what we got. Start off with the 4-hour. And of course, I do want to kind of discuss yesterday's price action. So we got the first move up to the 1272 right here. Sorry, it wicked up first to the 1414. We saw a short-term consolidation between the 414 and the 272. Exactly as predicted. No, but again, this is what we spoke about yesterday as a short-term consolidation between these two levels, and then continuation implied above this level over here. And the next targets is, well, not really where we're at right now, actually. The next real target is going to be all the way up here, a little bit past $50,000. So do I think that Bitcoin's going to be stopping here for anything more than like a short-term pullback? Well, if I had to spoil the surprise right now, no, I don't think so. I do think that Bitcoin probably does get a short-term pullback. Anywhere around, let's just call it 44,000 bucks is fine by me, because I am, the market conductor and I get to decide. No, of course not. But anywhere around there would be completely fine, completely normal. I would be looking for things to get picked up there and continue the march onwards and forwards here. Also, volume, very fucking important. Big breakout volume right there. Obviously, this is, again, hindsight because I'm making this video a little bit of a day afterwards, but we want to be seeing all these things in real time. And this is your proverbial breakout volume, more importantly. So not only do we have open interest going up, we have volume going up, also volatility rising as well. And what does that mean within the current context of the price structure? It's a fucking uptrend. More continuation implied. There you fucking go. Anyways, looking at our momentum oscillators, what do we see? So we did see the 4-hour hidden bullish divergence play out yesterday. Again, this was one of the big keys from yesterday leading into the breakout, saying, hey, if Bitcoin's going to be having hidden bullish divergence at the top side of the range already, which we put on our drawing tools, you can see is right here. That's very likely to lead into a breakout. Same thing with our 4-hour Stokes, which were trending to the upside. And we even played a little bit of divergence there as we identified yesterday on the histogram. And what do you know? Looking good. Once again, what else do we have after that? By the way, Caretaker should be releasing that relatively soon. It's going to be pretty fucking cool, actually. Let's see. And sorry, I should also denote momentum remains the upside as long as Bitcoin's above about $39,000. So you can look at 39,000 to 40,000 bucks as a big pivot on the market for the macro structure for Bitcoin, meaning that as long as Bitcoin's above there, generally speaking, we are trend or Bitcoin is trending because we are not inanimate objects that are magic internet monies. We are likely people if you're listening to this, or at least I hope that I'm a person. Hopefully you are as well. Hopefully you're not a fucking anime character like Shinoko or whatever the fuck her name is, and you also have a face. that's good. But yes, looking at this right here, everything kind of heading in the same direction. And if we go through all the lower term time frames, what do we see after that? 3 hours showing 39,700. So, kind of within that same region, obviously. Same thing on 3 hour RSI. Same thing on, well, basically everything that we're looking at right here. Continuation is implied from this level is what it's looking like. Bi-hourly, same shit. 42,750 is the magical number. Sorry, 720. Bi-hourly RSI. What do we see right here? No divergences forming just yet. Again, a very constructive read overall. Probably does come down a little bit, but I'd be looking for it to play off the exponential once again. This is continuation by definition. Hourly, what do you know? Oh, more continuation. Momentum remains the upside as long as above 46,550. And I'd actually be using the hourly right now to get the more pertinent trend, because the hourly does seem to work really, really well for Bitcoin on these big macro breakouts, which is what we're experiencing right now. So I would be looking at this as very likely to get the more immediate trend, meaning that as long as that stays up, upside is implied. Let's just call it like a $50,000 to $51,000 target for now. Anything else that I want to speak about? Hourly RSI. I mean, I'm sure someone's going to say, but there's bearish divergence there. Yes, it's already played out, and it's not a big deal anyways, because you can see that we're so goddamn deep in the bullish control zone there. Don't think it's going to take just 2 drives on a goddamn hourly to force this one back down. Three drives or more on an hourly. Preferably, I want to see it on like a 4 hour before I look for any sort of a greater pullback here. Moving on to the medium term time frames, what do we have right here? 12 hour, 41,000 bucks is your nice little pivot, increasing on the histogram. So momentum is obviously, well, very much to the upside, as you might imagine, after a fucking $10,000 rally almost. And what do we see on 12 hour RSI? Again, very, very constructive here. What do we say yesterday? Exactly as per derped, motherfuckers. Exactly. Sorry. It's getting obnoxious now. I apologize. That's not my intention, obviously. It's to poke a little bit of fun at the somewhat silliness that you see around the crypto YouTube sphere. But here's the thing, all of these guys who are being just blind bulls, they're not only going to make more money than myself as a professional trader in a market like this, but they're going to be right for a long time now. It's not until the market turns around where you're actually gonna have to know how to trade in order to make money. But paper, typically what happens is paper profits remain paper profits. If you don't, if you don't understand that the markets can obviously shift, and they can shift rather rapidly, just like we saw in 2017, just like we saw in 2015, just like we saw in 2011, and so on and so forth. Looking at this right here, though, 12-hour RSI is really the big one. As we did say that yesterday, if we did get another closure in the bullish control zone, I'd be looking for a move pretty much all the way to the deep end. And in this case, that is exactly what we're getting alongside price action, breakout volume, open interest, blah, 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 blah. You know where I'm going with this. It looks fucking good, man. It looks fucking good. See what the daily says. Daily obviously remained to the upside as well, and no real threat of crossing down right there. Daily RSI, same shit here as well. I'd be looking for this one to come back down actually and test around the exponential in the lower end or middle of the bullish control zone, but ultimately that's very likely to get picked up. This is not done here. This is incredibly constructive for going all the way back to basically June of 2019. So this is a mega structure right here. This is not ending anytime soon. Is what I'm trying to say. Of course, you're gonna have your ebb and flows in the market, but for now, the general ebb is gonna be in the direction of the upside, sirs. Buy daily, having a fresh cross the upside as we identified yesterday. That is fully confirmed. Buy daily RSI, playing out the hidden bullish divergence. Still, I'd still be looking for it to tag up towards the edge of the bullish control zone, the edge of the critical zone right there. And I imagine the 3 days doing the same shit. Yes, indeed. And this one, same sort of read on this one as well. I'm not gonna be too different than a buy daily, but overall looking very, very good here. Same thing with momentum oscillators. So everything does point towards further continuation. As I did say, likely a target up towards the about $51,000 region. Also, this isn't really a pattern right here. I'm sure people are going to try to fit on every goddamn name under the sun. If you do want to put any sort of a name on this pattern right here, what would it be? It would technically be a cup and handle. Do I look at it as a cup and handle? Not really. But if you do kind of get rid of the Elon Musk pump right here, at least the wicks on it, could it work out as such? Yes, it could. And if you are looking at it as such, what would be the measure move? It'd actually be all the way up to about 51,500 right here. I think that is. That's also also in line with the 2-spot Fibonacci extension, so really good confluence right there. And I would, I would go as far as saying that I generally think Bitcoin will head up towards there and probably beyond, as the 2-spot extension very rarely is like a long-term reversal point. Usually what happens is you'll play out like a short-term downside move, maybe even come all the way back down to the 414, possible, although that's rather far away right now. And then typically does set it up for an actual move up to the 414, the 6-weighted up over here, which is in the deeper $50,000 region. In more aggressive markets, you'll even get a wick up to the 3-spot, which would create a range between about 58,000 and 62,000 bucks. And I would dare say that we are in a rather aggressive market here. So in this case, do I think that that's what's most likely to happen? If I'm spilling the beans right now, yeah, I do think so. Bitcoin's bullish here. Bitcoin's just breaking out. This is very unlikely to stop right here. Continuation is very, 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 very likely implied. I won't see it's 100% implied, obviously, because you can't do that in trading, but extremely likely. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial derper. All right, let's move on a bit. Let's check out Ethereum. We can do the same thing for Ethereum really quickly over here. Where's my damn Ethereums? There we go. 1745. And what's my daily looking like? Actually not trading above the top side trolley band, funnily enough, but I would use the top side to still kind of generate our targets up north, and I'd still generally be looking towards $2,000 for the next major area based off of this ascending triangle formation right here, based off the continuation, based off the general market. But of course, remember that Ethereum did have its event on Monday, which did have a little bit of a sell-off beforehand. And now that Bitcoin is kind of picking up the reins, I'd be looking for Bitcoin to drive this one and Ethereum to follow now. Whereas before, Ethereum was more or less leading, now following. So the rotation is shifting back to Bitcoin, and I imagine that that's not going to be very good for your Bitcoin Satoshi pairings, of which we can look at our Ethereum Bitcoin pairing right here. And oh no, not my butyrols, not my butyrols. Oh, bastard of a market throwing my shitcoins back down the fucking gutter again. How dare they? How dare they not understand the complete efficacy of my Cardanos to do... Well, actually, this is pretty fucking bullish. Okay, I take everything that I said back. This is bullish. Hey, sorry. What about Link? Bearish. Nice. All right, we got another bearish one. Okay, let's go find another shitcoin over here. Theta. Wouldn't trade that with a goddamn 10-foot pole. Dot. Go fuck yourself. No opinion on this. Why trade something like that? I just don't get it. I just don't get it, sir. But Krown, don't you know altcoin shit YZ can go 100x in half a year. Yes, you can also use 100x leverage on Bitcoin and get the same move and not have to worry about the stuff about fucking liquidity in that case too. Something to consider, perhaps. All right, so that's enough shit talking from myself. I await the very mean comments coming from mentioning altcoins in anything but an illustrious sense. Okay, let's go check out traditional markets. What do we say? New all-time highs coming in this week. We got new all-time highs, motherfucker. Where was our next target? I think it was like 13,850. Would I still be sticking with that? Yeah, I'll still be sticking with that. NASDAQ looking good, looking nice and girthy. And continuation to the 618. 13,825 is the target toe. Man, I should definitely not ever sing. SPY, I think we were looking at a 39.25 target. Have we hit that yet? No. Came about $10 short. But I'd still be having it, and I'd be looking for a short-term pullback from that region, 39.25 region. So again, still looking for further all-time highs, and I don't think that that's like going to be your high. This is not this is not a toppy structure right here. In fact, ultimately, this one's very likely to go past $4,000. Same with the NASDAQ as well. Well, I would be looking for a short-term pullback there. Call me Moonboy Jim, because $15,000 is likely where this one goes over time. Are we in the Tia Nerd session? Oh, thank God we are. All right, Jesus fucking Christ, yeah. Okay, so now that we're speaking with the Tia Nerds, yes, very long term, yes. Both of these have a lot more upside. There's nothing bearish about these charts, like in any way, shape, or form. Weekly RSI tells a story here. I mean, this says everything. Same thing with SPY. Says fucking everything right there. I'm sure that you're going to say, but Krown, the bearish divergence already played out. That was your move from on SPY. That was your move from about like 38.50 all the way down to the 21 almost right here. And it's so fucking strong that it got front ran from even that target. That's something, man. That's fucking something. Anyways, moving on. What else do we have? Maybe a Bitcoin dominance chart really quickly. Just wrap up all the shitty coins right now. Show it to me. Yeah, looking good for an extended bounce here. I'd be looking for this one to pop up even more towards 66%. Do I think that we've potentially set in a higher low here? It's possible, but certainly not confirmed just yet. Let's see what the monthly looks like right now. Hard to get. Yeah, hard to get super bullish on that long term, but short term, yes, does have some more upside. All right, okay. I see Bitcoin literally wicking around like hundreds of dollars in one tick. This is rather nice. Enjoy, my scalping friends. Do we want to go pick on Ripple really quickly? It's probably going to follow the rest of the market here. What about Ripple Bitcoin? Oh, no, 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 no. My Rapple's going back down to the fucking gutter. How dare they? They don't know. They just don't understand. They don't understand that this is one day going to take over the world. And they're going to pay. That's right. They, the illustrious they, who is never actually well defined. It's like, if you ever want to, the way that I identify someone who like should not be taken seriously is if they say the word they and blame all their problems on it. They are going to do that. Who the fuck is they? Huh? Who the fuck is they? Who the fuck is they? Just everyone who's colluding against you, which is why you aren't where you want to be in life, and that is the sole reason why. And that's why no one can recognize the greatness of which you are, because they are conspiring against you, because they know who you are, because they are trying to do something. Oh, God. The egregious air of hubris, I think, would be the right terminology for that. All right, so I'm just talking bullshit now. We're 26 minutes into this bitch, and maybe we should check out CMEs. Oh, that looks bullish. What do you know? Crazy. Fucking crazy, huh? So yeah, to kind of wrap up my thoughts on Bitcoin, let's just wrap this bitch up, and because I need to go to the gym. Okay, let's go to Bitcoin over here. Let's, well, we might as well just keep it like this. We'll go to our long-term charts over here. Yeah, I'll start off with this one. Okay, all right. Looking good. Let's wrap this bitch up. Bitcoin on a long-term let's try this again. Bitcoin on our long-term trending charts once again closing above the top side Toronto band, following through with the more aggressive call that we had about a week and a half ago with the Elon Moon's pump high getting taken out, which happened just a few days ago once again, which did initiate our biases towards a target in the short term towards about $45,000 with continuation implied above 50,000 essentially. So it's bullish surprise right now. Technically speaking, if you are looking at this as a pattern, you would be looking at this as some sort of a fucked up cup and handle. Would I identify it as such? It's okay. I guess it kind of fits the bill here, except for volume wise. Anyways, more importantly, that measure move would be pointed up, not exactly where we are right here. I believe it I did on this chart over here, which would be, yes, more in line with the two spot extension right around about $51,500. So ultimately, do I think that Bitcoin is going to make its way above $50,000 here? Yes, I do. Now, also, theoretically speaking, the two spot extension is very rarely a long-term reversal point. So while I would be looking for a short-term pullback from this region, ultimately, I do not think that things stop here. This is where the moon boy horns can get going once again, I suppose. Realistically, it's the 414 and the 618 where I'd really be looking for on a more conservative estimate. And if I am going to be looking at this through the lens of an aggressive market, which it is a fucking aggressive market right now, then I'd actually be looking towards a three spot extension, like a wick above there. So anywhere really between about 58,000 and 62,000 is where I'd be looking towards. Same move that we've been speaking about for the last 2-3 weeks now. And we did get full on confirmation of the move yesterday, although I would argue that that was, had a couple days prior. As it stands right now, would I be looking for a short-term pullback based upon these regions? I mean, we already saw the short-term pullback based upon the 414 right here, as we did get a wick up there, then comes down about 2,000, 3,000 bucks relatively fast, then gets picked up and marched onwards and forwards. So I'd say that that's already played out. But what I would be cognizant of is coming into today's two-day closure and also daily closure by extension. I'd be looking for a pullback coming into, well, I guess tomorrow's new daily dildo, anywhere around the top side of the Trollander bands, which should be around about $44,000 to $45,000. So do I think that Bitcoin could first continue upwards, maybe even north of 50,000 bucks, and then coming into tomorrow or the day after, come back down and play off a move towards $45,000? Yes. Do I think that that would be an opportunity? Yes. Am I bullish on Bitcoin macro? Yes. What would it take in order for that to be undone and unraveled? I'd have to see a move back down below the resolution point, even on the most conservative estimates, which would be about $40,000 or $41,000, depending upon where you kind of take it. Anyways, my point is that it's relatively far away. So looking at both the volume signature and open interest over here, I don't think that this rally is like fake or anything like that, but of course have to overlay conditions for such things. And then of course should also denote that all of our higher term timeframes over here on our trending momentum oscillators and just trending indicators are in trending posturing. Any sort of a closure above the top side trend band today on the 2-day is going to look extremely good for continuation, very likely past $50,000. 2-day MACD also increasing as well, getting a bullish cross as it does close above the top side trend band. Very fucking good. ADX, DMI also having a bullish signal, which has been carrying through ever since a couple of weeks ago. So I am, well, to put it bluntly, yeah, I think that things continue upwards and onwards here. 3-day already closed last night, having the same sort of signature, bullish cross, closing above the top side Toronto band. ADX, DMI getting the momentum. All of this suggests more upside from this territory overall for the next 3 days. So new all-time highs implied. And then, of course, the daily doing the same thing here, too. So all of this looks good to me and more. Does that mean that Mr. Buterin and company with the rest of the altcoins get to follow? Very, very likely. I'd still be looking at Ethereum somewhere around about $2,000. And with that said, pretty much all markets bullish right now. So I'd like to wish you a nice day filled with green dildos of your choosing. With that said, wishing you the best of the best. Take care. And until next time.